So here I am with Michelle and Bert, and they both got tickets recently by Anaheim Police. And Michelle was recently kicked out of the shelter, and but we're going to talk. And she wants to get back in, but she's having trouble getting back in. But anyways, we're going to talk about mainly this police situation, how they treated them. It sounds like it might be a case of entrapment, possibly. But go ahead. Maybe we'll have Michelle go first. How did the police approach you, and what exactly happened? And when did this happen?
Happened yesterday, right at what, sundown?
About 5 o'clock.
About 5 o'clock p.m. I was laying on park property along with my bicycle and my belongings. We weren't on the catwalk, we weren't on the sidewalk, we weren't in any pathway at all. I was up on park property. I was laying down. I wasn't asleep, I was just resting, and we were actually waiting to leave to go back to the shelter, because that's my husband was still at the shelter, so we were gonna go back. As for me, 2 nights ago I was exited from the shelter with no place to go, so I did sleep on the side of the building there, so that's where my belongings were, so that's where we were gonna go. And when the cops rolled up, I immediately got up and was going to remove myself from the situation because I wasn't doing anything wrong. There's no need for them to stop me, but Officer Lembert said, wait, where are you going? Get back over here. And he directed me to go sit with, there was a bunch on the catwalk. You could still get through. There was no blockage that I could see. Bikes were off to the left, people were off to the right. There's plenty of room. And kids had been traveling pretty much.
And there were no kids, actually.
There was for the part that they got out of school.
Yeah,
that was hours earlier.
Yeah.
So we weren't in the way, you know, but I was not even on the catwalk. I wasn't even in the area questioned for blockage. So I was up on the park property, and it was within the hours of the park operation, so there's nothing that I was doing wrong.
Exactly.
I don't have no warrants. They proceeded to ticket me and arrest my husband for a previous warrant at the same time we were all getting cited. Everybody was getting cited. This was at Schweitzer Park.
And what was the charge?
Obstruction of the sidewalk.
Yeah, blocking the bike path.
Or sidewalk, or whatever they consider that catwalk right there.
So basically they said they told you to come to that area.
Yeah, come to that area.
And then gave you a ticket for being in the area.
And then they asked me to get my stuff and go after I was cited. Well, my stuff's in the park.
Wow.
I had to get back up there and get my bike and my stuff, because that's where I was, and my stuff. So they gave me a ticket for something I wasn't even doing wrong, and they wouldn't let me get out of it. They wouldn't let me leave.
Wow.
They pretty much cornered me in, because there was another officer that was pulling up right at the same time. So you got him above, and you got him from over here, and you got him from over there. I was cornered. You know what I mean?
And we need to get the body cam footage on that.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It was.
I mean, you can clearly see when they rolled up, because right as the one car rolled up, I had to sit into the upright seating position. You could clearly see where I was.
Yeah.
I wasn't anywhere near
The catwalk.
The catwalk was below me.
Yeah.
I was above on the park property where those bars run across.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was up there along with my belongings. So in no way was I a blockage.
Okay.
So I got a ticket, and I will be pleading not guilty to that. So
Great. Yeah. Well, how about you?
I wasn't even there. None of my stuff. Nothing was there.
he was a roll through.
And I had stopped. I was passing through, and I needed to go to the restroom, and I was on my bike. And I was going to the restroom, and my bike was outside the stall. And a friend came in, and he asked if he could use my bike. I was like, yeah, actually, go ahead. I don't trust it being just outside without being unlocked. And he went ahead and he took off, and I didn't have a problem with it. Well, when I went looking for my bike, he left his bike. Apparently his bike didn't work, so then all I did was just to go walk over and grab the bike that was right there along the edge, not blocking anything, like taking very minimal space. And they're like, is that your bike? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just grabbing it real quick, like, and they're, okay, come here, and I'm like, for what?
No,
like,
no, your bike was where again?
Yeah, I was this was right on the bike path, right when I was walking through looking for the bike that he had, because he had mine still, so I didn't want to not have his bike, you know, and not be able to get my bike back, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that it was even set there, so in the bike path, and I'm walking out to them already being like a hurdle, like a cow. They treated us. That's exactly how they treated us. It was like they were the wolves, you know what I mean? And they came and we were like
ranchers.
The little sheep. That's exactly how it felt. And like and I'm telling you, because they were all old. They're all old school. They're like OGs. So for them it was easy, quick.
Meyer was there.
Quick tickets for their quota, you know what I mean? And they didn't have, and they were joking. they were
Yeah,
joking around like
laughing.
it was nothing.
Yeah.
Like they're acting nonchalant. They weren't even acting. But the fact that it felt like entrapment, and
Mhm.
we're like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not even here. Why? No, they'll just go ahead and sit down. Everyone's just gonna go ahead and get cited. You know, and they didn't even care.
Yeah, and so not only am I not in the shelter now with no way back in at this moment, I have no family here in Orange County where I can stay. I can't camp anywhere
Mhm.
because I was woken up at 5 o'clock this morning, 4 o'clock this morning over at Schweitzer on the catwalk again. I literally was asleep next to the bicycles after last night's little ordeal when they took Rude, and he covered me up last night so I was warm,
Mhm.
but I was too afraid to put up the tent because there's no camping.
Mhm.
And 5 o'clock this morning before sunrise, you got them rolling through again, making everyone scatter.
Yeah, it's just like.
And they finally caught up with them over by the tool shack. That's where they went in, because it's hard for them to get in to where we are on that strip because those bars are still up, and they had no key to unlock it this morning. That's what delayed them, and they went all the way around to come get us. So that gave us a moment to escape.
Mm.
And I say escape not lightly. That's what we're doing.
So you guys have your ticket with you? Or did you get a misdemeanor or
It was,
infraction?
I believe,
It's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah?
misdemeanor. Yes.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
I don't know how it's a misdemeanor, but it's,
Do you have your ticket with you, Michelle?
No, I
Okay.
don't know where it is.
I left mine back in my backpack. I know,
That's
but
okay.
I
We
had
all
it
got
on-
some. There was a
yeah,
dozen of us at
everyone, yeah,
least.
exactly.
And we had
Okay.
2 more passer-throughs too.
And they were
that
still
they were stopping them.
They were still trying to like grab. Like, hey, come here. Come
Yeah,
here.
they were
What
pulling
you
More
mean?
people?
Like, they were pulling more
To join them
and,
to the-
And there was
to
this
this
white
ticket,
guy.
you know?
This white guy was just like looking like his
Like,
bike
I'm
got
looking for my
stolen. And he was
bike.
looking for his bike. And then he's like, I don't know, my bike was here. Like,
Yeah.
And they'll come and join us. And he's like, for what? He's like, someone stole my bike. He's like, I'm looking for it. No, just go ahead and come sit down with us. Go ahead and join the whole party. You know, everyone here.
You got a ticket too?
They even arrested him.
What? For what?
Apparently, he didn't. I don't know. They never said he had a warrant, but they took him.
Wow.
Because they said that he was acting nervous or scared. And oh well, it looks like you have a warrant, huh? He's like, no, I don't. He's like, I'm nervous because what did I do? He's
Wow.
like I'm being forced into something. He's
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? And we had no say so.
No
We
escape
had no
nothing.
route?
escape. We had
No, not escaping. We had no time,
no-
and we were even like talking with them and telling them like, look, like
Yeah.
they didn't want it. They didn't care.
Yeah, the
all
key
they cared
is-
about was the tickets.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not even on the bike path. I'm like literally in the park. Like,
Wow.
why am I getting a ticket?
Yeah, yeah.
I got no response.
Wow.
None. I didn't even get looked at.
Just a heads up. Next time, you can ask them when they tell you to come to. Are you detaining me? Or am I free to go? If they say they're detaining you, then they have to have probable cause. You have to be committing some kind of.
Exactly. And see, and that's what I said. I was like, I didn't even do anything. I was like, none of my stuff's here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like we have probably. I'm
How
like.
could you give me a bulk joint ticket? Because there's a bulk of them now. There's a dozen at least of us that got a ticket for the same offense, when only maybe 4 people were standing there on the actual catwalk with their bicycles, and the rest of us were just kind of scattered around
on the park side.
On the park
and they
side.
made them come down, and like I said,
Yeah,
it was only maybe, like I said, not even a handful were actually just standing on the bike path, and it's not like they were doing anything.
But even at that, it doesn't really say that we cannot do that. I mean, it's during park hours.
Yeah.
There's parks open at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Now, how many people would you say got ticketed?
At least 12.
Almost 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's because they were fishing for more.
Yeah, they were.
Wow.
They would have got about 3 or 4 more, but they're like no, and like it was weird. Like they didn't
do pat downs on any of us.
Yeah.
They didn't search our belongings. They didn't do none of that. They didn't read us our rights. They
They just
just
want to give
said,
you guys a bunch of tickets.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bunch of sites.
exactly what it was.
Wow.
And then
Exactly.
now here I am on the streets with no place to go.
And a ticket.
And a ticket. And I'm afraid to go to sleep, take a nap anywhere because that's a sure way to get caught up.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they took my husband, which is my, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. You have your court date?
I'm not sure.
Not
when it
sure.
was.
February.
I know that we
Okay.
got one, or I got one not that less than a week ago for stopping by because it was raining. Remember, under the shelter, and when we recorded all that, yeah, and how they were treating them just their way, and then all of a sudden that change of heart and that black officers, when I was telling them about, like, you know what I mean, like I need to find my little brother, like, and like you could just see him, like he stepped back and he's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, you know what I mean? You could see that, like. He stopped, like, you know what I mean, like, and the other officers were still like going, but the fact that it was beautiful that the 3 of us were able to fire at all pistons and be able to see how like everything, you know, everything's being witnessed on how they were treating us, how they were lying to us. They were telling us false, you know what I mean, false hope. This, you know what I mean, like they made me feel stupid, like. And I'm like, okay, so can I get the paper? Yeah, they're getting the paper right now. I'm like, all right, cool, thank you, I appreciate that. That way I know more information. And then the other officer, the even higher above, was like, what paperwork? We don't have no paperwork. And I'm like, wow, you guys, you guys are something else. It's like you guys.
Yeah. During all of this, they didn't offer assistance with shelter either for the ones who aren't staying in the shelter.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't do no outreach services.
They were more
of any
talking
kind.
shit. They were actually talking shit.
Well, they said, why are you in a shelter? Why are you over here if you're in the shelter?
And they were making they were making Paul, like they were like putting him down and like just making him feel like and I don't like that shit at all. Like that's not cool. You're an officer. You're supposed to protect and serve and honor. You're supposed to do the right thing. You're not supposed to put down.
Like belittle people.
Yeah, belittle or run your like.
Instead of a hand up, they're just smashing you down.
Yeah, that's so wrong.
It's above and beyond their call of duty to do these type of things to people.
Yeah. Well,
this is a personal thing now. It's personal with Officer Meyer, Officer Lemburen. It's personal now for them. They should never be doing that because their oath says that they should not be doing that.
Do you know any other officers that were there?
Yeah, Meyer was there. Officer Lemburen were there. Cooper was there, wasn't he?
No, Cooper.
Who was the other one? The tall white cop, the one that was all the way up at the corner of the
I don't know who that was.
Yeah, but he's the one who said, you guys aren't going nowhere. Like we were stuck.
Yeah.
And I got a ticket for something I wasn't even doing.
Okay.
And they said I didn't have a warrant, which really surprises me because I should, for sitting on the sidewalk that day with you guys. You remember?
Yeah.
Sitting on the sidewalk out here? I got a ticket for that. Obstruction of the sidewalk. 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, hopefully they threw it out. Who knows?
I don't know.
Hopefully they don't file it.
Well, they will at some odd time when I least expect it. And they say, oh, we're sorry, we sent out a notice. To where, dude? I'm transient, remember? You know what I mean? Like, that's another thing that needs to change in the judicial system is that.
Threw in a bush somewhere for you?
Well, yeah, because if they don't file it on time, it's still our responsibility. Let's say we didn't do a failure to appear. Let's say we showed up at the court date, DA didn't file it. So we walk out of the room with a stamped piece of paper, right? It says we showed up, but they didn't show up with their paperwork, right? Then it's still our responsibility to check our name every few days, because they could, at any moment, just file that warrant.
They did that to me.
File a new court date, and we'll never know about it.
Yeah.
And then, another failure to appear.
I did time for almost 4 months. I was fighting the case, and I was innocent, and I won. And then 3 years later, they rearrested me for the same damn thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, I did this already, and I had to go through the whole process, all the court dates, the 4 months again, and in the end, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. I'm like, no shit, I've been telling you guys this whole time.
Yeah, you can go backtrack on that like you did.
Like that was wrong of them.
It is.
Yeah, get an attorney for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know,
but
that
imprisonment.
But like they had a field day, they were making plenty of money off of me being there every day, you know. All those bus rides back and forth, you know what I mean? It was just transfers and everything, like they were having a good old time.
Very much like a business, right?
Exactly. I felt like
I just don't understand how City Anaheim can sit there and say they're so worried about the women in the streets and their safety.
Right.
When you leave a girl out there.
Huntington Beach is so good to their women. Like the homeless, they take the women off and they put them in a house. It's an automatic. They do not belong on the street. Yeah. And they give them lockers, like for them to store their stuff. Like, do you understand?
With the real lock?
It's with the real lock, and it's an actual place that you could go and you could store your property there. And that's beautiful because then we don't have to carry all our stuff. We're able to go about our day without having to stress, having to worry, having to like be around, make sure no one's stealing it, or the cops aren't trying to throw it away intentionally or damn. You know what I mean? It's so stressful.
Well, this morning over here at Maxwell, there was a census.
I saw that. Yeah,
homeless census.
Counting homeless people.
Counting the rest of us who are still left behind.
Yeah.
What good is that going to do when you hand me a bus pass, some soap, and some kind of little care kit?
What do they expect when they're forcing us into a fucked off?
They're telling me you're going to go to jail, you're going to go to a shelter.
So
I went to the shelter.
They even said yesterday when we were talking with them, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, that was not going to be up for long. And I was like, well, no, duh, because they're not trying to upgrade or mod or make it better. They give two shits about that, and they're making us live with cold water. The sewage is constantly on.
No showers.
I was like, they're doing it
no
intentionally because they're
yeah.
making us breathe in the toxins, the
Toxic
fumes,
fumes,
and we get sick.
Yeah.
I was like, they do it like they were doing it here. They are purposely backing up in the gutters,
Yeah.
and there was a certain time. And I was like, are you serious? They never did that before. And also because
like when
they were
would turn
there.
the sprinklers on the
Yeah,
front?
and the same with the sprinklers. All of a sudden, they started turning the power up on the sprinklers and then changing the rotation to where they were purposely hitting and staying on. You know what I mean? I was like, that is funny.
foul.
That is just like.
I remember in Las Vegas they used to
petty-
turn. Yeah, they used to turn on the sprinklers on the homeless all the time in Vegas.
I don't
mean,
know how that's not.
That's
it's like a
illegal.
torture. It's like a form of
cruelty.
torture.
How is that
It's
not,
cruelty.
not,
It's
not
like
illegal
it's a
already?
hate
How is
crime.
that
It's-
not
Yeah,
It
exactly.
really
Something
is.
that's
It's like,
punishable?
and the fact that this world is
Wouldn't that be
allowing.
assault in a way?
It is pretty much. It's like another form, another like degree of, you know what I mean?
Hate crime.
Yeah, it's just bad. Like,
Crime against
look
humanity.
how fucking ugly this world is getting
I know.
with each other. Like,
I don't know how.
and it's like, and what I'm laughing about is we're in the struggle. We are in the trenches, and the middle class and lower class. I just can't wait till they finally sweep them out from underneath them, and they're right along with us. Because
Well, they just move up the food chain.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all they
The rich gets richer.
Yeah.
In the middle and the lower, they will go down. And then they will try to get rid of us. You know, it's just.
The rich get richer,
And that's
exactly.
why I laugh because the people all around us is like, yeah, talk your shit now. Judge. Just wait.
Just a matter of time.
Exactly. Just wait till that moment comes where they take it all from underneath you, like they did us.
Yeah.
It
Doesn't take much.
But once that happens, we're supposed to be getting it given back to us.
And where's all the money all
I don't
this
know.
tons of money that's supposed to be, and they're not even using it for the shelters. They're
No.
bringing low grade, fucked up places that are just run down. You know what I mean? And just go ahead and we'll set this up for you know what I mean, a shelter.
Yeah. And they want us to keep. One of the rules at this shelter is to keep our hygiene up. How can we do that when we have no showers?
Yeah.
When we have no laundry working for weeks,
Yeah.
not days, weeks.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to keep up our hygiene
No hot
and
water.
our clothing hygiene with these things going on? How do they expect us to keep the rules when they don't keep up the shelter?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Very difficult.
And see, and that's what I was
Can't even
I was
bird
making
bath.
a point. Look, I understand that the government or just society, they don't want to deal with this. They don't want any part of it, and shame on them for that. I believe that they should hire the leaders, or at least the responsible ones out here that can run it and take and do the legal proper work, the paperwork, get everything whatever's supposed to be. That way they don't have to be there, or they could just there's someone they're getting it sent. But as long as we police ourselves, which we don't have a problem doing, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like being in jail. Respect your others, respect every, you know what I mean? Like everyone has work duties. No one gets.
But they haven't found a way to be able to tax that.
You know what I mean? It's like it is not difficult. We could easily run a huge area.
Oh, that shelter could have been so ran perfectly.
If they
If
allowed,
we had,
yes,
taken over.
And it's not taking over. It's just like they don't have to deal with the whatever they want to call it. You know what I mean? It's like we can handle it. We don't have a problem doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sure
a
we have
lot of us
plumbers in the
have
house. We
more
got-
than enough capability. You know, work ethics or what is
We have
it?
experience.
Experience, yes, experience with dealing with either office or whatever paperwork. It's a
all
lot.
of us combined with all of our talents. Yeah,
There's so
we
we
could've-
have there's so
we could've
many
been
much
successful at
wisdom
that.
and so much like knowledge and so much. There's so many smart people that are out here
Yeah.
that get treated like as if they're nothing or they don't amount to it, but really they were someone or somebody.
And they still are.
Exactly my point.
But they continue to make us feel like we're nobody.
Exactly, and they keep destroying them, just putting them
Little
down,
by little.
not allowing them to come back. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
if you really get to know everyone out here, everyone has talent. Everyone's special. Everyone is
special.
very gifted in, you know what I mean? They
Different
have-
ways.
Yes, but you know, it is what it is, and that's how they've come down. It's like we are a third world country. We've never been free. We've been lab rats our whole lives because they've been poisoning us.
The Human Genocide
biological
Project.
warfare since
That's what I was
birth.
reading about the other day. Human Genocide Project.
Air, food, and water is the biological warfare they've been poisoning us
Right?
since birth.
Well, let me wrap this up.
Yeah.
No
I
worries.
appreciate you
Caught
guys.
off there.
No, it's okay.
You know.
But Yeah, please share this video. Do join Homeless Advocates for Christ on Facebook, and pray for the homeless out here, especially these two, Michelle, Bert, and just all the others, you know, that you've seen in the videos and interviews. We need to make something happen, bring change. And also, if you want to get involved, let me know. I'm trying to get more people to speak at city council meetings. You can also email me at servingjesus99212@yahoo.com to get more involved. Hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you as you seek first His kingdom always.